Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. Today's crypto project in focus is Cardano. It's a proof-of-stake blockchain platform, the first to be founded on peer-reviewed research and developed through evidence-based methods. Its native token, ADA, is currently third on the list of cryptos based on circulating market cap. Before continuing, a quick summary of what is in store for today's video. We will cover Cardano, some of its key features, such as the roadmap, staking ADA, and its use cases. We have partnerships and related news, how to access or store your ADA, two price analyses, we're focusing on one in particular, and a crypto market update. And as a disclaimer, none of the information in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please always do your own research. Returning to its website and covering some of the key benefits listed here, and throughout this we'll understand or we'll cover how Cardano or the organizations or individuals spearheading the project aiming to accomplish these things. So it's saying creating through science a more secure, transparent and sustainable foundation for individuals to transact and exchange, systems to govern, and enterprises to grow. If we look at some of the key aspects of Cardano's blockchain, I will direct you to some further resources. One of the first components of this is proof of stake and Ouroboros. Now, for those who are new to the space or just want a refresher, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and up until recently Ethereum, they utilize this mechanism or this consensus mechanism called proof of work. So that's the mining. It is considered very energy intensive and quite expensive. Proof of stake is different. Instead of mining blocks as part of a crypto's blockchain, block creators are randomly assigned based on their stake or how much crypto they have that they could potentially contribute to the network. A very simplified definition just for this basic comparison. And Ouroboros, the first peer-reviewed, verifiably secure blockchain protocol, and Cardano is the first to implement it. And to give you some insight into the vast amount of academic input into this project, we have over 100 research papers here available via IOHK's website, one of the three organizations behind Cardano. And out of these, the Ouroboros white paper listed here, one of the key resources relating to Cardano. So a lot of academic rigor behind it. That's part of the evidence-based development. In terms of security, it's always very important, especially as blockchains grow. How can they remain secure? It says through Ouroboros, Cardano is provably secure against bad actors and Sybil attacks. To give you a basic explanation of how this works, and this piece from IOHK, a very neat resource. Before I touch on this, as a very quick side note, how it works as part of proof of stake. People who hold ADA contribute their crypto to running the Cardano ecosystem. In return, you get ongoing rewards, and this is called staking. Returning to Sybil attacks, and just touching on a line from this, in the event there is a bad actor who wants to try and control the network or inflict some damage to it in some way, they need to stake their own crypto, so if something goes wrong, they also lose their portion of it. But what's very clever here, through Ouroboros, if an attacker wants to create dozens of pools, he or even she will have to split their personal stake into many parts, making all of his many pools less attractive, thereby causing people to delegate to pools run by honest stakeholders instead. So essentially, the attacker will have to spread themselves very thinly. But one, it's very counterintuitive, and two, it's unlikely they will succeed because the vast majority of honest people are staking their crypto to run the pool. There is the hypothetical risk, but in reality it is very low and thus very secure. So that's the information about Sybil attacks. Very fascinating stuff. I know there's a lot to take in. Just one more thing, quickly adding to this. This is via one of the ADA wallets or Yoroi. If you go to the delegation list, so the available stake pools, it will give you, there's this attention notice, the new saturation point for stake pools will be 63.6 million ADA from December the 6th. It's still possible to send ADA to these pools, but the delegation rewards will drop, I think, considerably. As we get more pools, the saturation point will drop once again, will thus render the network even more secure. There shouldn't be one single pool that is considerably larger than the others and has disproportionate influence. Now, to put all of this into context, the 63.6 million ADA limit per stake pool, it's a fraction of the 31.1 billion ADA currently in circulation, a fraction relative to the circulating supply. It's a very clever system in my opinion. Returning to the website, incentivized participation. Cardano is an open source project and they encourage active participation amongst anyone who wants to get involved. People running a stake pool by either delegating or operating it, they get rewarded accordingly, as I've touched on. If you're interested, I made a separate video specifically talking about how you can stake ADA to then get some rewards. The good thing as well, I just want to add to this, incentivized participation or having this universal access, it's in the form of low transaction fees. You're dealing with about 20 to 25 cents on average with Cardano, as opposed to tens of dollars for Ethereum, even for small transactions. I'm not here to disparage Ethereum, but there is a major issue at the moment with transaction fees on the second largest blockchain. Cardano is often referred to as one of these Ethereum killers in air quotes. That's a whole different topic for discussion. And scalability and environmental sustainability. Many, if not most, of the new blockchains will adopt proof of stake or a similar system as opposed to proof of work. It is definitely considered a lot more efficient and thus more environmentally sustainable, especially with the energy usage for Bitcoin. I'm still a fan of BTC nevertheless, but a selling point, of course, one of the main benefits, if you can get more of these benefits to help promote the project, it's definitely worth it. So there's that information there. Now, in terms of scalability, this is a good segue into Cardano's roadmap. It's a blueprint of their plans. We are transitioning from Shelley into the Goguin era via the Mary hard fork. A very exciting time for those in Cardano. So there's this piece from the Cardano Foundation through Medium. What will it mean for Cardano? Some of the key information here. So users can define their own custom tokens through the multi-asset ledger. So it's now adding a new set of utility and functionality to Cardano. But a really cool thing, like other blockchains, tokens will be a central and core part of many decentralized applications launching on Cardano. This ties in with one of the biggest crazes taking over the crypto space at the moment. Now, you be the judge whether you like it or not. Native assets could be used to mint non-fungible tokens, aka NFTs, which can be used to represent a huge range of unique real-world and digital assets. This opening up a huge amount of utility, especially once Goguin has been fully deployed with the smart contracts, the dApps, NFTs on this. As time progresses, if this comes to fruition as many people anticipate, Cardano could definitely give Ethereum and some other blockchains a run for their money. Let's say, just my thoughts, as they improve the scalability, we have affordable transactions, we could get some well-functioning dApps to run on this and maintaining the decentralization and the good security for the overall blockchain or ecosystem. If you can maintain all of these things, there are some very compelling arguments to use it. It will keep Ethereum and other blockchains on their toes. So moving on to the crypto, or what is ADA or ADA? It is the native token of Cardano, named after Ada Lovelace, a 19th century mathematician who is recognized as the first computer programmer. So what can you do with ADA? Just like Bitcoin and many other cryptos, any user located anywhere in the world can use ADA as a secure exchange of value without needing a third party to mediate the exchange. Every ADA holder holds a stake in the Cardano network. And as I touched on earlier, if you hold the crypto, you can then use that to earn staking rewards. In time, and this has started with the Mary hard fork, ADA will also be usable for a variety of applications and services on the Cardano platform. In terms of holding your crypto in a secure wallet, besides a lot of the third-party options, Daedalus and Yoroi wallets were produced by IOHK and Emergo respectively. Those two, alongside the Cardano Foundation, are the three entities spearheading the project. You'll see them mentioned frequently across various publications. So they're two excellent wallets. In the staking video I made, I focus on Yoroi wallets, but I do touch on the former as well. To elaborate on the Mary hard fork that I spoke about earlier, because this ties in with using ADA, some of the key features of Mary and how this ties in with ADA in terms of supporting various and diverse user-defined tokens on Cardano, you will begin to notice new assets being exchanged like ERC20 tokens, which are run on the Ethereum network. Native tokens will open up similar functionality for Cardano, albeit with some fundamental differences and improvements. So some of these key features include redeeming and burning new tokens, sending tokens, writing monetary script, and minting new tokens. And moving on to some news, partnerships, and some of the use cases as well. There's this article from Crypto Slate, IOHK on the brink of securing a massive Cardano government contract in Africa. According to John O'Connor, the Director of African Operations at IOHK, the project could add millions of users to Cardano for real-world blockchain implementation. It covers how IOHK is one of the few companies investing, or blockchain companies I should say, investing in Africa at the moment. Charles Hoskinson, the founder and CEO of IOHK, has been outspoken about the potential Africa has for blockchain adoption, saying that his company was working on a number of projects aimed exclusively at the continent. And further details there in that Crypto Slate piece. As a quick side note, Charles Hoskinson, you'll see his name featuring prominently across various Cardano-related sources. Quite the character as well, based on his Twitter account. He does a lot of these interviews and gives some insight into blockchain technology, ADA, all of that. I came across this article. So on the topic of news, he retweeted this Business Wire article, Global Healthcare Platform asked the doctor to use Cardano for world's first utility healthcare token in Africa. I haven't sought permission to go through this. I do encourage you to read it. There's a lot of emphasis being placed in Africa, although they do have the global reach, a huge market to tap into, and other continents too with plenty of potential. Moving on, there is this tweet from Charles at PayPal, about time we get some ADA love, ? And that is in reference to last year PayPal announced the opportunity for its users to purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bcash and Litecoin on its platform. People have been very surprised. Cardano, especially now being in the top 5 cryptos and been up in the top 10 or 15 for a long time now, that PayPal has not listed it. In regards to adoption, especially amongst retail investors, so everyday people, in my opinion, of course not financial advice, if Cardano continues to grow and remains relevant, which I'm sure it will, PayPal will see the business opportunity, they'll offer it, especially if it's a profitable venture, they'll definitely jump on board at some point. I guess pending the US regulations and all of that it entails. The next article, this was a huge announcement. FD7 Ventures sold Bitcoin holdings to buy $380 million worth of Cardano, and then other crypto assets too. Polkadot was listed as well. If you go to their official website and you look at their cryptocurrency portfolio, for those not looking at the screen, Cosmos, Bitcoin, Polkadot, Ethereum, and Cardano. They have project investments in some other ventures too. Why this is significant, just to touch on what they do. It says on their website, with offices in Canada and the UAE, our team leads investments in all stages of crypto/blockchain projects. The company also manages cryptocurrency assets for high net worth investors. On top of the $380 million worth of crypto going into ADA, this company is definitely very bullish on crypto. They say here, and there's this article via Being Crypto, Bitcoin market cap will reach 10 trillion in a few years. As noted here, FD7 Ventures managing partner Prakash Chan believes Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot will reach similar heights and may even surpass Bitcoin in market cap. Let's see what happens with the crypto prices. And this was covered across various sources as well. Just to really hit it home is they've unloaded $750 million of BTC and $380 million of that has been redirected into ADA. It sends a very strong signal about the merits of investing in ADA. Of course, not financial advice, you be the judge. So an example of one company investing a sum of money into ADA and other cryptos, others out there as well. But for brevity, I'm going to cover the use cases before I talk about the ways to store, access your ADA. Returning to Cardano's official website under Enterprise, some of the ways to use its blockchain and the crypto. Education first up says the issuance of academic certifications is heavily centralized. If diplomas, degrees, or other credentials are damaged or lost, the reissue process is often costly and the issuing institution might no longer exist. Atala Prism is an ID and credential solution built on the Cardano blockchain. It secures academic certifications with an immutable and tamper-proof ecosystem, empowering students to own and share their achievements. So I'll leave it at that for education. Next one down is retail. In 2018, counterfeit goods inflicted a US $300 billion blow to the global economy. It is massive, and the problem is getting worse. Scan leverages blockchain technology to offer the solution to this problem. A specific study in regards to that, this is about 18 months ago, Cardano shares details of its partnership with New Balance to solve authenticity on the blockchain. So this is from Crypto Slate. It's a very good read. I haven't seen any recent updates on this, but I imagine there would be several examples pertaining to retail. Agriculture, supply chain tracking, Atala Trace once again, and Emergo. Government, so digital identity, Atala Prism, so it's IOHK. Onboarding for KYC and AML. So using Atala Prism, you can streamline and accelerate the onboarding through the utilization of reusable verified credentials. Healthcare, and I identified that article earlier about Cardano's involvement in Africa with healthcare as well. So this is about counterfeit medicine. So Atala being featured very prominently here alongside Emergo. So the good thing is they've got the various use case solutions across numerous sectors, having their finger in many pies. In terms of their growth potential and not putting all their eggs in one basket, I would say very exciting times ahead. As always, there will be competing projects. I'll elaborate on that later in the video, the potential competition that could impact Cardano's growth. In terms of ways to securely access or store your crypto, now just for the record, whilst I'm at it, when it comes to hardware wallets, you don't actually have the crypto stored on the device. You simply have access to the private key. It's the master key that you have and only you should have to then access your crypto. Moving along with this, with the Ledger hardware wallets, to support Cardano, it's not yet supported on its in-house app, which is Ledger Live. However, they have connectivity via Yoroi and ADA Lite. Trezor, another popular choice, very secure to store the private keys for your ADA. Now, in terms of supported coins and assets, the only frustrating thing is you have to purchase the more expensive Trezor Model T, as opposed to with Ledger, you could use either the entry-level Nano S or the more expensive X. With Trezor, nevertheless, there is the option. So they also have support for the ADA Lite and Yoroi wallets. Another hardware wallet that comes to mind that someone suggested to me, I haven't used it, there is the EliPal. So if we look at their list of supported cryptos, so they offer Cardano or ADA support. It says 38 blockchains and over 7,000 tokens supported. Worth checking out if you're interested. KeepKey is usually another one that I suggest as well. However, at the time of making this, they do not yet provide support for ADA. I wouldn't rule it out in the near future, as it is a top 5 crypto. And it's been up in the top 10 to 15 for a while. I would say it's a matter of time. Okay, moving on to these independent wallets. We have 2 open source wallets available here. So there's Daedalus and ADA Lite, alongside Yoroi, which is an Emergo product. And they all allow for staking as well, which is really useful. I am most familiar with Yoroi, but these are all excellent options, very user-friendly. Although these are also quite appealing. Exodus I highly recommend. They've got desktop, mobile and hardware crypto wallets that allow you to either store or access your ADA. Exodus specifically has integration with Trezor. So you've got the crypto there nice and secure for confirmation. Cardano ADA supported there. Very good APY rewards if you choose to stake through Exodus. At the moment, this variable rate of 7%. Atomic Wallet, they do provide support for ADA, as listed there, and some pretty good staking rewards for that and other assets. If we look at the list of coins, 5% for that with the APY. People seem to like that. Thinking of some exchanges, you've got Binance, one of the most famous, probably the largest crypto exchange or centralized one out there. Kraken, there's a very good beginner's guide, and I recommend checking that out if you want some further details that I haven't covered in this video. You get a live coin watch. Now, what you can do, if you want to see some other platforms that allow for storing your crypto, whether you choose to do it through a third party, you go to Cardano, scroll down and look at the markets, the various exchanges. That would allow you to buy and sell and store your tokens. Plenty of combinations there and a growing amount of trading pairs. And without further ado, let's have a look at my price analyses. As you can see, or for those who have seen my previous videos, there is a new format for the price analysis section. Before starting with, these are some assumptions to make, or just to put things into context. Cardano's been killing it this year. Over the past 12 months, it's gone up 4,600%. And if you look at the charts, this is the reason why you shouldn't give up on the crypto. It hit what was a historical all-time high of roughly $1.20 back in early 2018. It did not eclipse that up until about a few weeks ago. It got up to $1.50 per token. It's now back at $1.23. This is a classic reason why I would say if the crypto has a very good long-term outlook, robust use cases, and a good team behind it, or community, I should say, backing it, keep on holding. Just my thoughts. Now, some relevant statistics here to give you an idea. We're just below 32 billion in the circulating and total supply. The maximum supply of 45 billion ADA. People definitely find that advantageous. It makes it more enticing when you've got the maximum supply. You don't want ridiculous inflation devaluing your holdings. Various sources quoting these figures. The total cap at just above 39 billion US dollars for these price targets, as listed at the top of this presentation, at a 35 billion ADA circulating supply. For simplicity and consistency, we're going to stick with that figure. It could vary. The issue is we have no idea when or even if we're going to hit these respective targets. I do not do time frames anymore for numerous reasons. That's just some food for thought. You need to consider as well, and that's why I've got the 2 asterisks here for the first target, $10 per ADA. That would be a $350 billion circulating market cap. Considering there is inflation, the dollar amount could be higher or possibly lower. I'll give you some insight on how realistic it is to achieve these, at least in the coming years, possibly. Firstly, to reach this, there needs to be more exchanges and trading pairs. Coinbase, even though people have lukewarm feelings towards it, and rightfully so, it's a good on-ramp for retail investors. People seem to like it because it is fairly user-friendly, and I think it's appealing to some institutional investors as well. At the end of the day, I don't really care who's providing support, as long as people can buy it and the price goes up. That's what most of us want. It's not just a matter of having ADA available through US dollars, British pounds, or yen, and all of that. We need some lesser known fiat currencies to be traded directly with ADA. That would make it a lot easier as well. Again, just having this universal access to the crypto. In regards to the Goguin era, let's jump back to the roadmap. This is probably the most significant era, or at least one of them, with this incorporation of smart contracts. The fact is, you consider the numerous dApps or decentralized apps being built on various blockchains, notably Ethereum, and a lot of cryptocurrencies being based on Ethereum as well. If Cardano can get this to become a success, and people see the merits of using Cardano's blockchain to run the smart contracts and build these dApps, this just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. A quick recap for those joining us in this part of the video. It says, as well as adding functionality in the form of smart contracts, Goguin will also see improvements to the core Cardano offering. Most significantly, enabling users to create new natively supported tokens. Another benefit will be easier integration of smart contracts and dApps involving multiple cryptocurrencies. And that ties in with the interoperability, opening the way to the development of enterprise-level, mission-critical, decentralized smart contracts. Now, if they can get something to scale and will be very robust and quick, in tandem with fairly low transaction fees, if they can successfully do that, now don't get me wrong, it is ambitious nevertheless, and it's still early days. They could do all of that alongside having a market-wide bull run. Bitcoin and major cryptos will help rise the entire market. Generally speaking, there's plenty of evidence backing that up. Of course, there are altcoins that will outperform Bitcoin and vice versa, but it will definitely help rise. What's the saying? The rising tide will lift all the boats. Something along those lines. A combination of these factors, I think, will comfortably get us to $10 per ADA. Just adding the rocket fuel to help propel these prices. You consider we've gone up 46x over the past 12 months. Doing another 9 to 10x is not out of the realm of possibility. This circulating market cap is highly achievable, and as we go further up, I'll show you a graph shortly just to put all of the market caps into perspective. Now, the next target is $50 per ADA at the 35 billion circulating supply. That would be a 1.75 trillion circulating market cap. A massive figure indeed. Remembering that Bitcoin recently hit the $1 trillion feat, I wouldn't rule out many other cryptos joining that club in the next 2 to 3 years. Just my thoughts. And never say never. To reach this, or at least get somewhere towards this price, we would need the creation of what I've called the Cardano Alliance, in air quotes. Something similar to match Ethereum's Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. I'm mentioning Ethereum a lot because Cardano, Polkadot, and other blockchains or projects are often touted as competitors to Ethereum, and rightfully so. It is a very dynamic space. Ethereum's dominance relative to other altcoins is not guaranteed. See how things pan out, but back to the EEA, according to their website, it enables organizations to adopt and use Ethereum technology in their daily business operations to drive industry adoption and learn and collaborate with one another. At the time of recording this, over 200 organizations supporting the alliance, some upcoming events and news. Some of the board members here were some huge names. Now, I don't want to digress any further. This focuses on Cardano and ADA, not Ethereum. However, this is for perspective, some insight into this whole Cardano alliance, whatever they call it. When you're dealing with some serious numbers here, major progress needs to be made. On top of this, when you're dealing with this sum of money, perhaps not yet at $50 per ADA, maybe higher up, they would most likely need to take some of Ethereum's market share, take some of the dominance when it comes to smart contracts and dApps. If you go back to the State of the dApps website, it highlights how much is being built on Ethereum, but specifically with Cardano, PayPal, Coinbase listings, and others for mainstream adoption. And just showing this tweet once again from Charles Hoskinson, it's good that he's put PayPal on the spot. Just like the Coinbase listing, it's a matter of when, not if. It's going to happen. There's an article I came across saying we don't need PayPal to list ADA. We shouldn't have to rely on them, and I agree. The problem is when you consider this is a nascent space and many people are still reluctant to support cryptocurrencies, as people pretty much only know two. In the news you hear Bitcoin, Ethereum, and occasionally you get Ripple, which is actually XRP. That's how little some people know about the space. They get the wrong names. Amongst the general public, despite us being early adopters, many people still know sweet FA about crypto. You need to have these established names, especially with PayPal or a similar platform of that stature and prominence to get people on board with ADA and other altcoins. As I started editing the video, I just came across this news. Cardano ADA is launching on Coinbase Pro. So this is the Coinbase blog via Medium. This is starting today, Tuesday, March the 16th. Transfer ADA into your Coinbase Pro account ahead of trading. Support for ADA will be available in all Coinbase's supported jurisdictions. So not all at the moment. It's so long overdue. I mean, it's a brief piece. That's pretty much the key message there. I am surprised it took him this long. What comes to mind is potentially it had something to do with regulatory requirements. But yeah, better late than never. I would say keep an eye out for PayPal's listing. Then there will be a sustained increase as more people trickle into the crypto space. They'll see ADA, they'll hear about it, and they will start pouring money into that. The price will continue to increase if the Cardano ecosystem continues to grow and make improvements. Okay, moving along, the second highest target for this video is $100 per ADA. Yes, extremely ambitious. I admit that. Before I forget, how realistic is $50 per ADA? It's plausible, but I wouldn't hold my breath for anything in the near future. $100 would be a dream. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've included these because there are numbers thrown around on the interwebs. These are just targets. I'm not saying I think we're going to get to these. I have no idea even if we will reach these figures. I include these for perspective. Anyhow, $3.5 trillion in circulating market cap. Realistically, I would say higher because I don't think we would reach this target before 35 billion tokens in circulation. Perhaps too ambitious, but never say never. Widespread commercial and government use. There was an article, I'll include it in the description. It was a couple of years ago. So Cardano teamed up with this government department in Georgia, the country, not the US state. And as covered earlier in the news and partnerships, there's a lot of work being done in Africa, so a massive market to tap into, and potentially Asia, and then across the developed world over time. I wouldn't rule that out too. It will boil down to that. Taking market share from Ethereum and others, either that or Ethereum, Polkadot, and other platforms will need to go gangbusters. Tens of trillions of dollars invested in distributed ledger tech in general, cryptocurrencies, so on and so forth. If we don't rely on this market share being transferred, you look at the tens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars in value around the world at the moment, not out of the realm of possibility. Fully rolled out roadmap. At that point, I think Basho and Voltaire will have been successfully deployed. What I said before pretty much adds on to this in terms of the reaching the target. Now, For the last one of $200 per ADA, a circulating market cap of 7 trillion US dollars at a 35 billion token circulating supply. Undoubtedly an enormous amount of money to be invested in something. I say here, if you ever want to get to this target, Cardano would have to be the dominant crypto platform for smart contracts, dApps, non-fungible tokens, and so on. I'm not saying others wouldn't be up there as well, but it would have to be one of the major ones with this money involved. Just can't see it otherwise. Over 50 major partnerships required. I've just picked 50. It could be 100, 200, most likely the higher numbers, to get us anywhere close to this price. And then I say competition, just to clarify, you need to look at what others are doing. This could be a potential hindrance to actually reaching this price if another one comes along. I know Polkadot is often listed as a major competitor, and I hope it does well. I also wish Ethereum well too. I want all of these to excel, but nothing's guaranteed, especially when you're dealing with astronomical amounts, very ambitious price targets. Now, just for something interactive, if you look at the current circulating market caps, just pick BTC, ETH, ADA, DOT, and Link. Link, probably not as relevant as these. Now, we've got ETH, ADA, and DOT. You see these often grouped together. That's where we are now. If we want to see $200 per ADA, or at least relative to these prices at the moment, and then we incorporate Bitcoin, again, this is all just for perspective, you would need, at the current ADA supply, it's about 6.2 trillion US dollars. Again, just to reiterate, realistically, you would need 7 trillion, most likely beyond that, in the circulating market cap. It will be interesting to see how large these cryptos will be in about 5 years' time. The last one, in inverted commas, beyond $200 per ADA. Never say never. I'm definitely not holding my breath. I would diversify and be putting money into other cryptocurrencies and showing support for some other projects too. It's good to split the risk, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just my thoughts. Pretty much all I have to say for this price analysis. Very exciting times ahead, and if you're here at the moment, consider yourself lucky, because I believe, I'd say the current prices, not just for ADA, but many other cryptos, are still bargains. Anyway, so for the second price analysis, I'll just skim through this one. It's an alternate scenario whereby you're looking at the value of ADA relative to another cryptocurrency. Well, in this case, I've chosen Bitcoin, although you can tweak it accordingly. As requested by one of you, to do it in this manner, a quick explanation of how I've done this. If you imagine purchasing X amounts of ADA now, it shows the current value of Bitcoin literally at the time of making this. And if you imagine potential future values, so what I've done, using these quantities of ADA next to the bullet point, if you go over to the right-hand side and you assume $10 per ADA at $100,000 per Bitcoin, and for the bottom two, you've got $50 per ADA at $200,000 per BTC. These are hypothetical scenarios. Now, based on my calculations, these are the values of Bitcoin for the respective ADA prices. Some food for thought. If you have plenty of ADA or any altcoin that shoots up in price in the near future, what you could do, if you want to accumulate more Bitcoin or Ether, it could be worthwhile converting some of them, especially if some altcoins do a 50x or even a 100x, as we've witnessed recently, converting them into one of the major cryptos, and you can boost your balance by doing these conversions if it's worthwhile, as opposed to buying more crypto with fiat. As a reminder, I know I say this ad nauseum, none of this is financial advice. If you make profits, I don't want any praise. And on the flip side, if you lose money from this, I don't want criticism, because you are 100% liable. You have to do your own research. Here are the numbers. I recommend checking them out. And to finish the video, just a very quick market update. I'm going to sprint through this because it's been such a long video. This is courtesy of CoinGecko. On the 24th of March 2021, here are the prices. Looking at some of the biggest gainers in the top 100 over the past 7 days. Dent 241% up. Harmony 127% up. Theta nearly 100% up for the week. It's at $14, continuing its excellent run. BitTorrent, PundiX, Bitmax, Arweave, AR token, Kusama, they're all doing very well. Looking at some of the biggest losers over the past 7 days. Tiny losses as opposed to the huge gains. Voyager token, Flow, Sushi, and X Sushi Near, they're all down in the teens alongside Compound and some others. focusing on the top 10 cryptos, how they're looking. Bitcoin, $56,400 per BTC. Ethereum, $1,700 per ETH. Binance Coin, $263, back in the third spot. Cardano, $1.15. Polkadot, $35.70. XRP, it's picking up once again, 55 cents. Uniswap, $31.26. Theta, as I mentioned, $14. And Litecoin, $195. You got all your other cryptos there, courtesy of CoinGecko. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who you think will benefit from this content. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos. And thank you for watching. New videos coming soon. Talk to you shortly. See ya.